Hello, people of Earth. I hope that you are all having a lovely Monday. I hope that life has been treating you well and you're ready for the week. All right, so this is one of my traditional readings for the week ahead. Please don't beat me up about not getting around to the others yet. I've been working on it and having plans, but it seems like Spirit and life have had other plans for me. So it's been rather busy the past week, but here we are for your reading for the week ahead. So if you're new, very welcome. Thank you for being here. And what we do on a Monday is we do a reading for the week ahead to see what's coming up, what energies we're dealing with, what kind of advice Spirit can give us. And yeah, we'll just see. If you are returning, thank you very, very much. I'm very grateful to have you here, as I say every week, but I could never say it enough. These have all been pre-shuffled. I just feel like they need one more. And then we're going to see what comes up. So I'm doing things a bit differently and using different card decks and just kind of experimenting a bit. And we'll see what comes up. All right. There are energy sessions coming up, now that I think about it. On the 7th of September, there's going to be... Let me just make sure of my facts. Pretty sure it's the 7th of September. There's going to be an eclipse during that full moon. So that full moon and the following new moon are going to be huge. And I'm going to be doing energy sessions for those, but they are going to be limited. So I'm just letting you know now. So I can't say that I never told anybody. I'm going to have to limit them because of the intensity of some of the energies and because of time constraints, energy constraints. I have to limit myself to some degree. I will only do that if absolutely necessary, so please don't panic. But yeah, I will be kind of possibly having to draw the line at some point in terms of how many energy sessions I can take. Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to see what's coming up in terms of the general energy for this week ahead. I feel like I need 3 cards for that, please. Okay, I've decided I need 4. If you are regular here, you'll know that I'm doing things a bit differently, but this is how I do some of my other readings. You just don't always see it that way, and it depends on what I'm doing, how things kind of work out. So some of my other reading styles are going to come through in the weekly readings, and I think that's a good thing because, you know, we don't want to get bored and like stagnant. This is really good. All right, so the first thing we've got coming up here is the 6 of Pentacles. The 6 of Pentacles is, as you can probably see here, like a balance and an equanimity in things. It's equal give and take in certain things, and maybe even a realization about where those kinds of things are lacking in our lives, where maybe we are taking advantage of something or we are being taken advantage of. And it's not necessarily always in a malicious sense, but maybe we're giving too much of our energy towards things that we are not feeling that energy reciprocated. And this pattern is coming up quite often in the readings lately. So I think that this is not only with people. This is like, are you putting a lot of effort into something that's not paying off? Is it a project? Is it a work situation? Whatever it might be, where you just feel like you're flogging a dead horse, so to speak. And I feel like this balance is coming back now. And I feel like it will actually be quite natural because I feel like Spirit is so prominent right now, especially from an ancestral perspective. A lot of us, our guides and guardians, are really coming across strong, and our ancestors are coming across very strong. And these energies are, instead of waiting for us to ask them and, you know, the energy being a bit slower, I feel like the energy is really, really picking up and becoming faster. And that's also because of the Knight of Wands here, which I'll address a bit further in a minute. But this is really fast-moving energy. Okay, and I think that there's some things that are just changing because it's time for that change. It could be astrological and cosmic things that are happening in your astrology or something along these lines, or it could just be circumstances around you that are changing, that inevitably cause change in your own life. But there's change and transformation happening here on a number of different levels. And I feel like this equanimity or this justice or fairness or whatever it is, things being brought back into balance, is almost as if it's not something that's entirely your doing. I feel like you've been working on certain things, or you've been working towards that in some way, or wishing for it to happen. But there's energy now that's just changing things and changing things for the better. And this is going to come in quite quickly here. All right, we've got the Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands, I mean, it shows this crow and this horse running together in unison. You know, they're on the same page, they're working together. So it might even be that it's people that you wouldn't normally think that you could work with, or a partner that you have where you're not always seemingly on the same page, but even if you're not exactly the same in certain ways, and this can be business partner or whatever, it's like you just complement each other and it just works very well. And this could be even a change in your mindset, in your thoughts and your ideas, or taking one small action. It could even be someone else taking the action as well, with this energy coming in. That this just kind of propels things in the right direction. Like you're stuck with something and someone comes up with an idea, or you've been waiting for an answer on something and this comes in. But a Knight shows that a long-term condition suddenly changes. All right. And then you've got the King of Wands, where you get into this position of really being quite self-directed and powerful. And it's like stepping into your own power. And please note that the sun comes up in both of these cards here. All right, that's things being illuminated, as kind of seeing things or having ideas around certain things where maybe we didn't have that idea before, we didn't see something clearly. If our minds have been feeling very foggy, it's like all of a sudden we have this clarity on what to do or how to proceed or what the situation is. And this is about stepping into your leadership qualities. All right, King of Wands can be associated with fire signs like Aries as well. Very self-directed, can work with other people, no problem, can manage other people, but also work very well on their own. And this is talking about stepping into your power in terms of direct your energy, be self-reliant, be self-sufficient, and take action in the direction that you need to take action in. It's like you already know what to do. You just got to go ahead and do it. And this leads to this Three of Cups energy. The Three of Cups energy can bring a lot of success. It can be something that is celebrated, all right, where there's literally a celebration, like a opening your business, or a birthday, or a wedding, or, you know, it could be these kinds of things coming through. But it's also very much about healing. It's about everybody being able to share here with this particular depiction. There's more than enough for everybody, and there's no real competition. And I feel like for some of you, this is definitely going to be moving away from a situation where you feel like there's been like this feeling of lack, or and what I mean by lack is like, again, this imbalance here. Do you see with these crows, they're sitting eating on the ground, and this one's flying up above them, and he's taking his own fish, and he's like, I'm out of here, guys, see you later, while these two bicker over the fish. And this is the one that actually steps into this power. All right, he goes with a different partner or a different plan or something along these lines, and in a completely different direction, because something is illuminated here. And this gets him to a place where he's around like-minded people, or like-minded crows in this particular situation. But then there's equal sharing. Everybody's relaxed and everybody has more than enough, and to some extent their own stuff as well. It's like that independence, that self-reliance, that self-actualization, all of the things that come with that, stepping into their leadership powers and not waiting for someone to do something or waiting for someone's permission. This is what gets them to the place where they need to be. And this is a really beautiful energy. It's an energy of victory as well when we see a wreath like this particularly. This is like everything's relaxed. It's about social activities. It's about good communication and just things moving into a really good place and a much better place than where you were. This is literally like you could be hanging around with people that are also powerful, where you're actually meant to be, instead of kind of hanging around with people who are not really on your level anymore. And that's not something that is said to be derogatory or anything like that, but maybe you are a bit more ambitious than the people that you're around, or you feel like whatever they're doing is not something that you feel like you want to do anymore. You want to do something else, or you want to do something more, and it's time to move on. It's nothing personal even, maybe, but it's time to move on. All right, so I feel like I have to knock and shuffle this one again. This is the Gateway of Light Activation cards, which I've only recently started using. And let's just see if there's anything that comes from these. Okay. What do we need to know from this deck this week, please? Oh, this one's quite sticky. I don't know if they want me to use this. Anything from this deck, please? Can we get it? That feels a bit better. Okay. One card. The Divine Matrix. Wow, this is coming up so often. And I've had this in some of my own readings that have come up. And I think I had this in the, if it wasn't last week, it was the week before. Maybe the Flower of Life is of interest to some of you at the moment. Maybe you're just learning about that kind of energy. Interconnectedness, synchronicity, God incidences. This is what this interconnected energy is. It's like, I think you should be looking out for synchronicities and signs and symbolism that kind of is showing you which direction to move in. Your spirit guides are certainly around very, very much at the moment. And I don't know if any of you are seeing them or are able to see them, and they maybe don't look the way that you expected them to. And for some of you, there's some very important meaning behind the Flower of Life. So if you've seen this before, or you've been interested in it, but you've never really looked into it, maybe it's time for you to really look into it, and it's going to lead you to other things. I feel like I need to look at it upside down. Okay, so I think that water is very important here. I feel like the color blue is very important for particular people. Maybe this is to do with opening up your throat chakra as well, to be expressing certain things. Maybe you need to mention when you see that interconnectedness, or you need to be opening up some kind of dialogue or connection with somebody that you have maybe wanted to reach out to, or you wanted to connect with, that could possibly be this kind of person that you could align with. It doesn't have to be romantic stuff. Please don't necessarily think that. I think that this is on a larger scale. It's just like people that you resonate well with. And that is like a new group that you could be moving into, and maybe even taking you into a more spiritual path. And you need to be doing things that remind you of the interconnectedness, that remind you that you're part of something much bigger than just your everyday life. You need to do things that are fun. You need to hang out maybe with kids who remind us how simple life is, and play and dance and do all the things that you need to do that are also part of life, besides just functioning and surviving. And you know, these energies, or hanging out with people where you feel like you really just you don't want to live like that anymore. For some of you, it's like financial struggle. Maybe it's people are really in a bad lack mindset or a poverty mindset, and being around them is, it may not be the case, but it might feel as if it stifles your ability to manifest and your ability to get into that good vibe and continue to have your resources coming in and live a comfortable life and all the rest of it, that being around people who are maybe pessimistic or are not, they just can't see that yet. There's no judgment against that because everybody's exactly where they're meant to be. But I feel that these people who are, these crows that are squabbling over one fish on the beach, maybe need to be left behind. Maybe there's something that they need to do or learn, but it's not your path. Grab your fish and go. And that's not going to be a bad thing. And they are also part of the whole. They are also part of the collective. Maybe they are just there to show you something. All right? But if there are synchronicities that are showing you, like they say, God incidences, signs and synchronicities to show you, hey, you should be moving towards something else, go for it. And I think that there's very little effort required on your part necessarily, except for stepping into that power, saying, I need to take a leadership role here and move myself forward, or take the opportunity that Spirit's showing me here. And even if that opportunity is to leave a situation, that's what you need to do. I think that this is like, here we go. All right. Temple of Truth. I just said water is important. The color blue. This literally says throat chakra, authenticity and self-expression. This is a doorway opening up for you. It's like literally you need to open the floodgates. And if those floodgates are your speech, you having to say something that you need to say that you've been holding back on, maybe communication is where you should be taking your career directives. That's the direction you need to be moving in. But here it's like the throat chakra. You need to speak up and move forward and take action on your own behalf. Maybe water will even be really healing for you. There's also this feather of Ma'at that is here. Ma'at is the Egyptian goddess of justice, of balance. Here the scales are, and she's represented by the scale, but this is also her feather. And she is the Egyptian goddess who weighs your heart against a feather to see, have you been virtuous in your life? Have you been authentic in what you've been doing? Have you harmed or hurt anybody? There's a whole list of all the rules and the code that the Egyptians used to live by, and you had to pass all of those in order for Ma'at to actually allow you into the afterlife and for it to be a happy experience for you, and for you to be basically allowed passage, and then she would open these doors. So I think at the same time we're being really told to be very mindful of how we speak or what we're saying as well. Like, are you maybe speaking to people and saying, oh no, I really like it here and everything's fine, and it's really not? Okay, be authentic, be true to yourself. Say, sorry guys, gotta go. if that's what you need to do. All right, don't necessarily just walk away and not say anything to anybody. Be courageous. Be in this lion and this crow energy, this king of one's energy, where they are not afraid to do or say what they need to do what they need to do or say what they need to say. And be self-directed, but do it in the right way. Okay, that's what this is saying. So there's floodgates that can open for you. And I feel like communication is something where the floodgates need to open as well. Maybe you have been holding back. Maybe you've not been saying what you need to say. And this is like, okay, it's time for you to have some real change here. Your self-expression is something you need to tap into. You need to work on your throat chakra. You need to be able to speak your truth, but speak it from a place of love as well. We're not here to hurt and harm people. If you speak your truth from a place of love, you will never have problems. Okay, the truth will set you free. Very interesting. Okay. We had this card last week as well, and I have shuffled. The Venusian Galactic Council, star being guides answering the call, time to shine. All right, I don't prescribe to any boxes or, like specific modalities or belief systems around certain things. But if you're into the Starseed Collective or anything like that, maybe this has some meaning for you. And I feel like this is spirit guides that are coming through with love. I've experienced them very recently, even this morning, for people that I know. Very strong, very loving. It's like they're coming through with not just themselves, but everybody around them. All the other ancestors as well are channeling through them. So you might feel somebody around you, or like I said, you're seeing somebody and it may be that you haven't seen them before and now they have the energy to do so because they are getting help from everyone around them on the other side, or they're coming through really strong to offer support or give you the strength for this final push through, the strength to speak your truth, or whatever it is, to get these gates opening, this and remember again that this interconnectedness, you are part of them already. They're here to lend their energy to you. They want to help you to move forward. They want you to get into this King of Wands energy. They want you to have something to celebrate. It's like a change in your whole state of being and the cycles in your life. And it's almost as if there's a resistance, or things have been a certain way for so long that we don't believe they can change. And they're here to show you otherwise. They are the ones pushing the energy, giving you that nudge so that you don't have to do too much. Okay, but the Knight of Wands, long-term condition suddenly changes. And you might look different. So some of them are in spirit and some of them are physical. They are you. But you can work together. And if you work in unison, that's what's going to get you to where you need to be. What a beautiful message. Ace of Cups, the Holy Grail. Inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. What do you seek? Do you seek happiness, joy, fulfillment, abundance? Or do you seek hanging out with the people who don't have that vision yet? Is it time for you to move on? Water, emotions. Emotions are going to be huge here. I have felt that already. Sorry, I'm just seeing something else here. I can't remember what this is called. A diorama? Or something like that, when you have the circles going within each other. Okay, I can't remember what it's called now, but I'm sure most people will know what I'm talking about. When you have the two circles that are two separate ideas or two separate subjects, but when they overlap, they have commonalities. This is what I'm seeing here as well, and it's just like the crow and the horse that are very unlikely buddies, moving towards a goal together. This is being repeated, the lion and the crow. They are equals in many ways, but they're very different. And this is like spirit and physical, and reminding you that you are not just physical, or you are not just spiritual, and there are so many in spirit that want to help you. And I feel as if when they are around, we can, we get all kinds of prompts. Some people get the chills, some people get ringing in their ears, some people will get both. And some will just see them in a dream or know that they are around them for some reason, but they are making themselves known. And sometimes when they make themselves known as well, it makes us very emotional, like we just want to cry for everything. And you're like, why am I crying? Or we hear a song. Music's also very important right now. Listen to the music around you. It's bringing messages. All right, I'm going to pull a card from Odin and the Nine Realms. I feel like this deck, I often just need one card. We'll see what they say. What do we need for this week ahead, please? What is the message? Thank you. Ron. Okay, water. Here we go again. Ran is a water goddess, a sea goddess in Norse mythology. Here we go, and I open up, and she says emotion. Can't make this up. Let me just get it to where you guys can see. Ran, emotion. We've just spoken about emotions, about the cups. Okay, let's see what she has to say. Ran is the goddess of the sea and rules all emotion. She is wife of Aegir and his 9 daughters, all named for the waves of the ocean. Ran uses her nets to hunt men at sea, capturing them and dragging them to their death. Ran reminds us to be aware of the power of water, for it is a conduit for travel on earth and in the cosmos. Okay. Think of how you can implement water in your daily life, whether you take a negativity salt bath and do a meditation while you're there, if you go for a swim, go near the ocean, use it as a meditative kind of a tool or channel, because they might even speak to you through that. Wow, this is quite cool. All right. Be aware of the power of water, for it is a conduit for travel on earth and in the cosmos. And that's what I was just saying. Earth and spirit, earth and spirit, earth and spirit, and interconnectedness. All right. The symbolic message of Ran's deep ocean is calling you to look at your emotions. Do not get trapped by the cycles and patterns of the past. Ran's net is symbolic of the unresolved pain you carry, and drawing this card offers hope that you are making progress and will soon be free of the confines that are holding you back. Okay, these cycles and patterns, I feel like this is like maybe the people that you are surrounding with yourself with right now. And again, I felt as if, these people are not necessarily at fault, but perhaps these people or things are exactly the things that keep you in a repetitive pattern. As an example, if you have been in a place where you think, I really need to cut down on the amount of alcohol I drink, or something of the sort, or I smoke too much, or whatever it is. I'm using very mundane examples of bad habits, so to speak, okay? Maybe you go to the pub every night after work and you end up hanging around with these people, and they sit and they complain and they don't enjoy their lives, and they're not really enjoying their lives around their families, or whatever the case is. And you end up going to the same places all the time, doing the same thing, and it's a bit low vibe, and you're feeling like, you know what, I really want to get out of this. And maybe you've even put a prayer out there or asked and said, I really want to get out of this habit, or I really want to get out of this thing. And breaking habits from the past, whether it is drinking, smoking, food, sugar, whatever it might be, whatever your vice is, this is coming up prominently now, to break patterns from the past, to do things differently. And it may not be any judgment on the thing that you're doing. Maybe it's a job, whatever it might be. It's no judgment to this thing or these people. They are what they are. They are there to show us something. They've served a purpose in our lives. It's not like they never have. But now it's time for us to move on from there. And it's to move you out of those habits of that stagnation. It's not personal towards anything or anybody. It's just time for you to move on now. It's time for you to not be afraid to feel the emotions of the past and to deal with the emotions of the past. Maybe you need to do some negativity purging or something this full moon that's coming up here. And if I'm not mistaken, it's a full moon in Cancer, which is all about water and emotions. And the full moon will make you feel them whether you like it or not anyway. Why not dive into it? This is like karmic patterns and stuff. Balancing of the scales once again. Okay. Finally, I just want to see if there are any messages for anybody in particular. So when you see these cards, just like with the rest of the reading, you don't necessarily have to have everything fitting for you. And if you're not feeling like anything's fitting, please know that this reading is not for you. All right, it's not necessarily yours. Maybe the next week will, or the next one I do will be. But if there's not messages for you, also remember that there's a lot of people watching a lot of the time, whatever platform it goes through, or whatever the case might be. Or there's just one person here who needs to hear something. Let them have their moment, and maybe you are blessed enough to not be going through as much as they are right now, or next time there will be a profound reading that feels like it only speaks to you. So just bear that in mind. Okay, any messages? They might even match up with what we've done here. Allow yourself to receive. This is exactly what the cycle is, okay? It's this balancing of the scales where there was just give, and pushing out of your energy and sapping of your energy, even if that's something you allowed yourself by overindulging in things and becoming a bit of a couch potato, or whatever it is. Your energy was being depleted, and to some extent that is voluntary. All right, letting people take too much, doing too much for others, or doing too much just in general, overworking yourself, whatever it is. And this is now saying, allow yourself to receive. The tables have to turn. Okay? This crow is allowing himself to receive. These crows are all allowing themselves to receive. They're not sitting back and, well, I'll leave that other cup just in case there's somebody else that might come along and also want some. They're saying, thank you very much. I'll have it. I'll take it. I need to be replenished. I need to drink water and eat food and get dressed, because that's how people function. Little things like that we might be negating or giving up. It says here, open your arms to welcome the blessings and answered prayers that God is sending you. All right, whether you believe in God or not, God, guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, whatever your belief system is, spirit, the universe is sending to you. Just open your arms. Just say, yes, thank you. That's all you have to do, all right? It's like if someone gives you a compliment and you say, oh, no, I'm not. Da, 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 da. Just say thank you. Just learn to say thank you. Okay. Anything else? Any other messages? Thank you. Divine guidance. The ideas you are receiving are heaven-sent answers to your prayers. I mentioned ideas here with the two suns that were coming up, that there was something being illuminated. This is exactly it. And you have this divine guidance. Spirit and physical coming up all the time. Spirit and physical. All right, the horse, the crow. Beautiful. Okay, let's see what else. Thank you. Writers group. All right. Create or join a writers group to gain inspiration, friendship, or support. That's for somebody specifically, I think. A writers group. Very interesting. Okay. Anything else? Thank you. Vulnerability. Ha ha ha. The one thing we struggle with most. Vulnerability. Listen to your vulnerable feelings as they contain wisdom and inspiration. And then pray for strength to focus on your priorities, no matter what. In this day and age, it is so difficult for us to focus on our priorities. We have 1,000,001 distractions in a day. Other people needing things from us, again, that scatters your energy. It fragments your energy. When you are in a role at work or wherever you might be, where you constantly get interrupted because of the needs of others, and you've got to stop what you're doing and then try and recenter yourself and get focused back on what you're doing, and the next person comes and interrupts you, or your phone never stops ringing. Take action for that. Put your phone on silent and check it every 30 minutes, or whatever the case is, or close the door, or say, I'm not available for 30 minutes, for 10 minutes even. Listen to your vulnerable feelings as they contain wisdom and inspiration, and then pray for strength to focus on your priorities, no matter what. Do you see how he's pointing his finger at her? He's not asking her, he's telling her. You need to focus on your priorities no matter what. This is a command. This is not asking. It's something that you need to be doing. You need to make time for yourself. You need to make time to be able to sit quietly for long enough to tap into those vulnerable feelings, because that's what you're trying to work on, the feelings, the emotions. And you can't do that. You can't listen. You can't be receptive if you don't sit with some peace and quiet. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I think that's it. It's feeling a bit sticky. By sticky, I mean they kind of stick together and I can't shuffle them, and then I know that we're done. I need to check the bottom of this deck. Rider. Okay, Rider is a Norse rune, which means the rider. It's got to do with forward movement. So, like with this, this Knight of Wands, actually, this is exactly the rider kind of energy. And if you know Lenormand, you'll also know the rider, which is like the driving force, something that's coming in. It's the whole essence of the energy behind something, what's happening. And when you're doing a reading with that, it usually will like be the driving force behind everything, or the main energy that's moving through. So that is very good as well. Rider is an excellent rune to have when you want movement, when you want to get rid of, say, stagnation. All right, that's quite lovely. Let's see what the book says. I know this one says ride. They've got there are so many different ways in which to pronounce some of these. Ride, journey, natural rhythm, and union. Ride indicates that you are about to begin either a physical or inner journey. Be mindful of your inner balance, which reflects the natural state of equilibrium between heaven and earth. Get in tune with nature's rhythm, which helps you to align with your true self. The journey is always about who you are, your authentic self, and union or spiritual trinity of the inner male, female, and child. Allow the heartbeat of heaven and earth to become one within your heart. Feel the cosmic waves hold you while you let go and trust. That is a beautiful way to kind of end this. Be mindful of your inner balance, which reflects the natural state of equilibrium, the scales, and my art that came through with the scales. Your inner balance, which reflects the natural state of equilibrium between heaven and earth. Heaven and earth has come up repetitively, spirit and physical. This allows you to align with your true self. The journey is all about who you are, your authentic self, authenticity, throat chakra, speaking your truth, self-expression, and your inner male, female, and child energy. A lot of this is child energy, stuff from the past. Suppressed emotions will often be things from our childhood, and it doesn't have to always be very negative things or whatever the case is. It could just be something that somebody said to you that affected your life, but it's not abuse necessarily. In some cases, obviously, some people have been through some heavy stuff that they need to work through. And have patience with others. I saw that saying today, have patience with others, because everybody's trying to heal in some way or another. Okay, so I don't know who needed to hear that. Allow the heartbeat of heaven and earth to become one within your heart. Feel the cosmic waves hold you while you let go and trust. The cosmic waves. Okay, while you let go, vulnerability and trust. Trust is also all on its own. Last word there. And I feel like that's a huge theme now. We need to trust spirit. We need to trust where we're being led. We need to trust ourselves. That's where the imbalance has been. Trust yourself if you're feeling that you're in the wrong place and you need to escape for your own reasons, not because of anybody else, or, because you've realized something and now it's time to move on. It's time to heal. It's time to move towards your Three of Cups energy, where you're going to have this healing and this forward movement. Okay, and I think that's all the messages we need for the week. What a beautiful reading. And yes, it's going to be emotional. Yes, it's going to be hard when you have to speak your truth, but you are so supported right now. Inner discovery, finding sacredness. You are what you seek. Trust yourself. Trust yourself and trust spirit that you're being led where you need to be led. We've lost track with, or lost touch with our intuition, and we're too driven by the external things that are happening in our lives all the time. Connect with water. Drink more water, even if you have to. It's a conduit for your intuition as well. Your body is 70% water. Keep feeding it that water. Water conducts energy. Okay, and with that I leave you, and I wish you a beautiful week ahead. I do hope that this speaks to somebody and that it's going to be helpful in some way, and I send you lots of love and appreciation for all of those who come back and all of those who have joined today, and I really do hope that you heard what you needed to hear here. Take care. Chat again soon. Bye for now.